And welcome, welcome. Let's invite our speakers up here. We'll be getting started very soon.
Hey Danny, hey Mo, just doing a quick mic test. Can you hear me okay?
Hello.
Loud and clear both.
Perfect.
Great to have you here. Great to see some familiar names in the audience already. Inuk BT as well, coming over from Ledger. How
Thanks
we
for
doing?
having me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming over to Open Campus and sharing some wisdom and insights with us. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much, first of all.
Pleasure. Always happy to, come and meet new people and talk about things that are hopefully very valuable for everyone. So thanks again for having me.
Definitely a lot of lessons to be learned today. Well, welcome everyone who is just coming in. Welcome to the special event hosted by Ledger in partnership with Open Campus. We're very happy to talk to you today, and it's going to be a two-way conversation. If you have any questions or some scenarios you want to discuss with Mo here and Jake, of course, then do put in a request to speak. We will be bringing you up on stage to have a chat with the team as the event goes on, and we're going to be talking about something that's absolutely foundational to the world of crypto. First of all, self custody, very important overall in crypto as the market gets busy and the security risks become a little more heightened in the space, and also as lots of new launches, new things, new features, new innovations happening in blockchain all the time. In particular, we have the launch of Edu Chain at Open Campus coming very soon. And ahead of that launch, it could be really good to make sure that the security knowledge is as good as it can be. It can be. How to secure your assets and keep hold of your own keys is what we're going to sort of cover first of all. We want to make sure that the process is simple, secure, and accessible for everyone. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Mo, the head of brand from Ledger.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here, and thanks again for having me, Danny and Jake. Happy to, dive into whatever is valuable for everyone. So, I'm here with you guys, and if you guys have any questions, obviously we can dive into different topics, and I'll let Danny drive the conversation. We can set the table, and then hop on stage, and let's have an interesting discussion.
Definitely, it's going to be an interesting one. If you have a question, feel free to put in a request to speak now, and I'll try and keep an orderly sense of arrangement as we get a little bit deeper into it. But first of all, really want to talk about the importance getting started in taking control over your own crypto. The first steps in taking control over your own crypto. For many, that is moving your crypto from an exchange into a wallet that you control, be it a hot wallet or a cold wallet, but moving it off an exchange first of all. You may have seen examples like FTX in the news, and where where it may where it's become apparent that maybe they were doing things with your crypto that they weren't telling you about. And when you have the keys to your own crypto, that's not really a situation you'll find yourself in. Mo, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the ledger advantage there, first of all.
Sure. I mean, that's a good way to start. We often say if not self-custody, then why crypto? Like owning your own keys is really at the core of the ethos of Bitcoin and then, subsequently all cryptocurrencies. So I think with Ledger, we've been around for a while. Like I think most people don't know this, but Ledger is 10 years old in 2024. So we're relatively quite an old company in this space. And we've really been driven by one mission is to enable people to self-custody their assets securely, but do it in a way that's easy to access, and then ultimately culturally relevant as well, without ever compromising on security. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people are intimidated by secure self-custody. And the reason why is that we've often been used to trust a third party to manage things for us, be it your bank or whatever fintech company you might be using in order to buy, sell crypto or any kind of assets. And that obviously comes with some advantages and disadvantages. The main disadvantage, like Danny highlighted it at the beginning of the conversation, is the fact that you don't own your assets, and that is often highly risky, especially in the crypto space. And at Ledger, what we've tried to do since our inception is to build hardware and software. For those of you who own a Ledger device, you might be using Ledger Live. Ledger Live initially was just to kind of update your firmware applications, install different applications. But as the whole Ledger ecosystem evolved, we've started adding more services into Ledger Live so that you can actually buy, sell, stake, swap one crypto for another securely with clear signing. And we might get into what clear signing is, but it's basically being able to verify the transaction details in a human readable language on the secure screen of your device. And we might get into what is a secure screen and what isn't. But yeah, for the past 10 years, we've sold 7 million devices. Some of you here might be our customers. If you are, thank you very much for your trust. And we're currently securing about 20% of the world's crypto. And just this year, we launched 2 new hardwares, Ledger Stacks and Ledger Flex. Some of you might have bought them. If you pre-ordered Ledger Stacks, we know you waited for it for a long time. So if you waited, thank you again. And these 2 new hardware devices are really designed for a more kind of mass audience that will be getting into the market, today, actually, with Black Friday and in the future as well. And the idea is to really make self-custody as accessible as possible. Back in the day, if you were a Nano user, you'd have to use your Ledger Nano with a desktop and plug in a few different cables and sit down and concentrate and maybe sweat a little bit before you make a transaction. And today, actually, you could do it with your phone on the go with Bluetooth, whether it be Ledger Stacks or Ledger Flex, connecting it to Ledger Live or to Phantom or to MetaMask. And that's the whole idea, is to get as close as possible to Web2 experience, but with Web3 foundational technologies, and to make it as culturally relevant as possible as well. Like, if you're familiar with the Ledger products, we try to make them beautiful as well from a product design standpoint. We collaborate with brands. We try to make it as, as different from what a security company would be doing as possible in order to make it more accessible and attractive. So yeah, I would say that that's kind of the main introduction there for Ledger.
And you mentioned 2 new exciting products, the Flex and the Stacks. We actually have a Ledger Flex to give away today as part of this event. In addition to $50 worth of Edu tokens, we're going to pick 2 winners. One winner will be receiving a brand new Ledger Flex device, and the other will be receiving 50 Edu to their wallet. We're going to be drawing the winner at the end of this event via a spinning wheel. And we'll do our best to make it as exciting as possible. But what is more exciting than potentially getting your hands on a brand new Ledger or $50 worth of Edu? Both very exciting prizes.
Annie, do you mind if I jump in with a question for Mo here? Because I'm still using a Ledger Nano, so I'm still plugging in with multiple wires to move my funds to cold storage. So what's that like now with the new Ledger Flex? So you don't need to plug anything in. Can you just describe that a little bit? Because that sounds interesting. That sounds like a lot less hassle, which is a lot better for that whole experience of moving your stuff to cold storage.
Absolutely. When you think about it, the Nano range of products was really first launched in 2016 within the Ledger Nano S. We launched Ledger Nano X in 2019 and the S Plus in 2022. And the S Plus was mainly launched because the S didn't have enough memory. So it wasn't really an innovation. It was just like kind of an additional feature to solve a pretty awful user friction. But to get back to your question, what I'm trying to say here is that nanos were designed in a world where most people were buying and holding their assets, right? So it was to hodl your Bitcoin, probably like make a few transactions here and there, but it wasn't really designed in a world where people were making transactions on a daily basis, where they were interacting with dApps or smart contracts, or having to prove ownership of specific assets and so on and so forth. And therefore, the experience itself was pretty much a buy and hold experience where you didn't need to be using the product on a daily basis, and therefore it was a lot more of a desktop experience. Although the Ledger Nano X had a Bluetooth connectivity, the mobile experience was pretty awful. We have to admit it. It didn't connect all the time. In 2021, we didn't even have mobile support for MetaMask, and Phantom wasn't even on the map. So it was all based on a mobile experience. So on a desktop experience. So you had to sit down, get out your cables, plug it into the desktop, and so on and so forth. So I think what we're doing today is really making sure that we keep up with the innovation that's happening around the space. And most people actually are trading on the go. You don't want to stay home or grab your laptop with you in a backpack in order to kind of buy a certain NFT or wait for a certain drop, or you have an airdrop that you need to access. If you're going on a weekend, you don't need your laptop. So, and even you're out, the certain meme coin is actually pumping and you want to take some profits. It's just making life a lot easier. And the experience is super smooth. I don't know, the community here in the audience, whether it's more of a Solana or Ethereum community. I hope both, whether it be using EVM compatible chains or just kind of interacting on a daily basis with Solana dApps. But you should try it out. If you have a Ledger Flex or Ledger Stacks, I highly invite you to and encourage you to connect your stacks to Phantom and see what it's like and judge for yourself. I personally use it on a daily basis, and it's been a life-changing evolution for me. I'm just being able to not worry about having to carry the kind of heavy backpack and just do everything on the go is a really important kind of user benefit from my perspective.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Just reducing that friction so you can use it for daily trading. Because to be honest, I'm still in that mindset with my ledger that it is for holding, not to use necessarily for active trading. So yeah, I love that. Just keeping people safe, everyday trading as well as longer term holding as well. That's awesome.
And you're not alone. A lot of people still think of their ledgers as this cold wallet that they have to hide under their mattress and never show to anyone because ledger is your vault. And it's true to some extent, but we're heading towards a phase where and a period of time where most people will own digital assets. And when I'm talking about digital assets, I'm not only talking about cryptocurrencies. I'm talking about other type of assets that will be tokenized, whether it be driving licenses, passports, other types of credentials. And you don't want to be holding that on your phone. Your phone is an internet connected device. If you're securing, storing your private keys on your phone, it's the analogy that we often use is it's like putting a bank vault in a commercial mall. You'll still have a shop on your right hand side, left hand side, underneath you and above you, and someone could drill a hole in the wall and just take stuff out. I think the idea behind it is that the phone is not really designed for security. It's designed for sharing information. It's a device that was designed for Web 2, which is the Internet of Information. And now we're, in Web 3, and it's the Internet of Value, and internet connectivity is really a key vulnerability to the security of any assets. So I definitely have a ledger device that's my vault, but I have another ledger device that I walk around with on a daily basis, and it's the device that holds some of the meme coins that I might be trading, or a little bit of ETH or a little bit of Sol, in order to be able to jump on any opportunity that might arise. It might hold certain NFTs that will give me access to a few things here and there. So in the future, it's probably going to have my passport or my identity card. And with Stacks and Flex, you actually have an NFC chip, and that enables you to also use it as a 2FA. So my Twitter account, my Exchange account, and my Gmail, they're all secured by my ledger. And it's super easy. You don't need to have the Google Authenticator app and get the code, etc. You just tap to log in. So you have your ledger with you and you have your phone. You just tap with your ledger on your phone and you log into your social media accounts or your emails. So the use cases are, I'm just setting the table for you to start imagining what use cases might evolve in the future. And we're actually, all of this is built on open protocols. So at some point, some developers actually might develop certain applications and use cases that we might have not even thought of. And I'll end on this point. Actually, I was at this amazing artist residency last weekend called Glitch. And, this kind of a pretty like crazy thing where like 50 artists spend 2 weeks with one another in some sort of like a castle an hour away from Paris. And we gave away Flex devices to most artists in order to start like playing around with them. And some of them started thinking about like art installations where the collector would have to interact with the artworks with their ledgers using the NFC chip in order to unlock certain experiences. So these are the type of applications that some people might develop that Ledger wouldn't have even thought of. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. There's going to be so much use cases for it, then, particularly if it is open source. And yeah, I just wanted to like underscore, because I know we're trying to talk about best practices for security, and something you said there I think is really important, Mo, around still having a ledger as your vault, but then also having one for the more active trading. So you've still got your kind of long-term holds away from everything, and then you've got your ledger that you're using on a daily basis. I think that's like just a very good best practice for people to adopt. Even if it just stops them trading those longer term assets on those like moments where you've got FOMO or whatever, if they're in the one that's not in your pocket, I think that's probably a good thing. But then you can still use your kind of daily trading ledger for those more active trades, whether it's meme coins or NFTs or whatever it might be. That would be how I would think the best setup would look like.
100%, especially if you're upgrading and you have a Nano, keep it as your vault. And the Flexor stacks would be the device that you'd be using on a daily basis. It's gonna change your life. At least if you're trading every day, the difference is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's interesting as well how Ledger is making that transition from being, as you said at the beginning, the Nano might have been a place where you put your hodls and your tokens that you want to store away for a long time to being more of an overall security product now, like you say, with the 2FA capabilities, and having a device where there is incentive to keep it effectively on your person every day, as opposed to bury it at the bottom of the lake, as has in years gone by. It is very exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I hope people don't bury it at the bottom of the lake. Although I did put my Nano in a washing machine once, and it came out alive, which was crazy. But yeah, don't bury your ledger at the bottom of a lake.
And probably don't put it in the washing either.
Yeah, definitely don't do that either.
But no, that's made me more bullish on Ledger, the fact it can go through the wash.
Yeah,
Still
I don't know how many. Like, please don't quote me on this, but mine was pretty lucky, and probably because I don't know the circumstances. But I'm not saying that ledgers survive washing machines.
The Ledger
don't try it.
challenge is going to be on TikTok in no time. It'll happen. So Jake, we're at Open Campus launching the Edu Chain mainnet very, very soon. And one of the biggest priorities, I suppose, ahead of launching a completely new chain that the Open Campus Foundation has, I suppose, is educating the community of holders, be it silver notebooks, golden backpacks, publisher NFTs, Cappy friends, on the importance of keeping your assets as secure as possible ahead of this really important time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think always important when there is a big event coming up in any community that you're a part of. It's just scammers know that people are either experiencing FOMO or they're trying to rush things. So it's like it's a point of vulnerability if there is a big launch. So it is definitely a good time to be extra vigilant. But I think, yeah, not just around launch time. It's like any day of the week, anytime you're doing anything on chain, you should be just as vigilant. But yeah, this is why like I was really happy to host this space and just bring awareness to on-chain security. And it's something I can hope we can do more of with the educational partners we have on EDU Chain. So there'll be a bunch of different content platforms on EDU Chain that will be in the form of dApps, and something I hope a lot of them have is modules on Web3 security. And yeah, maybe it's something long term we can do with Ledger as well to bring this to EDE chain. But I think the more there is that type of content, the better for everyone, particularly for EDE chain, because we are trying to onboard like a fresh audience to crypto. Like a lot of the students coming in from our university partners, from schools, it might be the first time that they actually are on chain when they interact with EDE chain. Particularly, a big onboarding tactic for us will be Open Campus ID and on-chain learning credentials. So if you've basically recorded a course certificate on chain, you're not necessarily thinking of finance straight away. So there's going to be a big leap from that to then maybe purchasing your first crypto, and you may not be aware of some of the dangers. So I think the more we can educate those people from day one of their kind of crypto journey on the dangers, how they can protect themselves, and what the best practices are, the better, because they will hopefully be like the future of the on-chain community, but particularly the students that are quite young. If we can get them educated right at the start of their journey, then they're going to have a much better experience and hopefully manage to not get rugged, not get scammed, which will have a knock-on impact. Because if we can bring millions of people through that way versus what's probably happening quite at the moment quite a lot, where coming in through TikTok straight into a shitcoin, you're going to have a bad experience, and there's not much focus on education around anything, like not definitely not security when you're coming through that way. So I think that's what I would really like to see build out in our ecosystem, is because we're an education focused chain, there's going to be lots of opportunities to learn about Web3 security and a bunch of other stuff. But I think compared to other ecosystems, we should have more opportunities for newbies to the blockchain to stumble across quality education around security. And yeah, like I said, particularly excited to work with partners like Ledger, who are kind of thought leaders in the space, have built the hardware. Like having educational resources from companies like Ledger on EDE chain should facilitate this whole thing of making sure newbies are secure.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations, guys. I think, education is so important in this space, and we'd be happy to help in whichever way we can. I don't know if you're aware, Jay, but we built out Ledger Academy. Initially when I started working on Ledger in 2020, it was like a blog with a few tutorials, but we had a very strong focus in the past 4 years on education, because first of all, like, education is a non-zero sum game, in a sense that the more there is, the better it is for everyone. Like everyone, if we start doing better education across the board and we collaborate with each other, it's just going to make the user experience in crypto a lot safer, and therefore have a much more positive impact on the overall ecosystem and its adoption. And Ledger Academy has really been focused on this. Like, most of the content is open source, so you guys can take anything out of Ledger Academy. We can help you with curating content that would be very relevant to your users' needs. And we build it out from this kind of tutorial blog to an ecosystem of different content streams, formats, with different difficulties as well, covering every single topic you could imagine, obviously with a focus on security. And I think we'll end the year at 2 million users from like 80 or 90,000 about 4 years ago. So definitely, users are interested in education, and we're more than interested in making sure that whatever lives on the academy can also live elsewhere if it's useful for partners, etc. So happy to sideline on this and make sure that we can contribute to your initiative.
Yeah, would love to connect on that, Mo. I think that type of content's perfect, particularly coming from you guys. And what I would like to do is with that type of thing is to issue on-chain credentials for people in our ecosystem that have completed certain modules on your course platform, whether that's hosted on ours or we send them straight to yours as well. And then that can unlock other things. So there's an incentive for them to get that first, get that credential, prove that they're safe before maybe they start trading on dexes or start unlocking other sort of finance elements of the ecosystem, particularly for students at university, that I think we should be a bit more protective of if it's like their first time on chain. So yeah, let's definitely pick up on that, Mo. Would love to do something around the content on Ledger.
Perfect. All right. Should we? I don't know. What are we doing next, Danny? Should we like take a few questions?
Absolutely, absolutely. If anybody has any questions, please do put in a request to speak, and we will get to your scenario, your question, whatever it is you'd like to pose to the team. But in the meantime, for as we not don't have too long left, it could be good to give away the first of our prizes for tonight. So the first prize that we have tonight is $50 worth of EDU. If you are the winner, please open a ticket here in the Open Campus server and send us over your wallet address. We can send you the token. I've just tried to screen share. It just needs me to change my permission, so I'm just going to spin the wheel here, and I will post the screenshot of who it lands on. We've entered everyone that is currently in the audience here, and the winner of our 50 EDU is Nemesis underscore 54465. Congratulations. Congratulations. There we go. Nemesis, congratulations. You win $50 worth of EDU. Please open a ticket here in the Open Campus server. We'll collect your information and get that EDU to you. Congratulations, Nemesis.
Let's go, Nemesis. Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations indeed. Great to see a lot of Cappy fam in the audience as well. See Spider-Man's PFP there with the heart eyes on the Cappy. That's one of my favorite traits. I'm after a heart eyes myself, but I'm rocking the Disney ears at the moment, and the heart eyes. Sorry, I was after the glasses myself. I'm rocking the heart eyes and the Disney ears myself at the moment. We have Kadan97 up here with us. How you doing, Kadan? You are just currently on mute. No worries at all. Maybe just some simple technical difficulties. That's all right. It happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. Don't worry too much. Don't worry too much. If anyone has any questions that they'd like to pose to the Ledger team, now is the chance. Oh, Kadan can't hear themselves. Maybe worth just closing Discord and reopening it, refreshing it there to see if that solves the problem.
While we're waiting for Kadan, I've seen you've unmuted. Can you speak now? Okay, maybe not still, but we've got Nooked up. Oh, Nooked is gone now as well.
Slap musical chairs.
I didn't know we were that intimidating.
While we're waiting for someone to come on stage, I saw a question from Spider-Man, and the question was, will Ledger support any specific security features or tools tailored for the EDU chain community post-launch? I think, Mo, that one's going to be something we have to cook up between us. I'll be surprised if you've already got plans. I mean, I'd love it if you did, but that might have to be a follow-up call for that one.
I'd love to tell you yes as well, but we should definitely talk about it. Whatever is useful for the community, happy, to support and contribute.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, Spider-Man, leave that one with me and Mo, and we'll cook something up for EDU chain community. But thank you for the question.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to note as well, there's a lot of similarities between the Open Campus and the Ledger community in many respects there. The Open Campus community, as we know, obviously building EDU chain at the moment, the ongoing testnet points campaign that is happening right now, is that Open Campus and EDU chain is something that has been built by developers in the community who have come forward and stepped up to build certain products or certain dApps, certain features. And it's quite similar as well in the Ledger server as well. There is in the community in particular, there's a lot of builders and a lot of builders who may be not even if maybe sometimes official representatives of chains, but developers of them, and they want to work on that integration and that kind of community and sort of ground up developer support is very noticeable in Open Campus and in Ledger as well. And it's kind of really, it really goes to show the importance of, I suppose, nurturing the builders within one's own community. And it's would be Open Campus or be it Ledger, that sort of rings true through both communities, which is important to note as well. Spider-Man sent through a question here. This may be relevant for Mo as well, but Jake as well. Maybe if you could maybe have some wisdom here too. What are the most effective practices for securing your private keys, especially in a multi-chain environment like EduChain?
That's a good question. I mean, the most important thing is to make sure that you own your keys and generate them in a device that is not connected to the internet. And when I say generate them, it's even more important than owning them, because you could use a seed phrase of a hot wallet to put it in your ledger. We definitely don't recommend it, but it is a possibility. But never do that, because that seed phrase has already been exposed to the internet. You don't never know what could happen, or whether one of the devices that you're interacted with initially like kind of infected by malware. So make sure that you generate the keys on your ledger in order to be to sleep well at night and not think about the what ifs. And then the other piece I would say is to always segregate your assets. Asset segregation is a very important tactic. Segregation is segregation. It means division of your different assets. So creating different accounts for different purposes. Because how security, on the blockchain works is it's pretty simple actually. You think about it as different compartments. And if, for instance, you're signing a transaction with Ethereum account A, and you end up signing a malicious transaction, the assets in Ethereum account B, C, or D, or Solana account A or Bitcoin account A won't be affected. The idea is that, if you segregate your assets, you can easily secure your assets by making sure that you never sign transactions with your vault. Because at the beginning we were talking about like having two different ledger devices, but you could have your vault on your ledger device as well, and your vault will be safe. So as long as your seed phrase is safe, even if you sign risky transactions with your Mint wallet. So the Mint wallet is usually the wallet that you're adventurous with. It's the wallet that you're gonna go, that you're gonna be using in order to like sign a transaction for an airdrop, or mint an NFT on a platform that you're not familiar with, or even on a platform that you're familiar with. So it's kind of important to segregate your assets and make sure that the value of your most valuable account doesn't end up signing any transactions. And then at the end of the day, try to sign transactions that are clear signed, meaning that you understand the details of the transaction in a human readable form, and verify them on your secure screen. So the secure screen is the screen of your ledger device. Obviously, clear signing isn't a standard across the board, but if you sign any transaction inside Ledger Live, it's going to be clear signed. And then if you're signing a blind signing transaction, make sure that it's not signed with any of your valuable accounts. Just use a Mint wallet for it. So I would say these are the three key things: secure your seed phrase, generate your keys in, on your ledger, and segregate your assets, and don't sign anything that is blind signed with an account that has valuable assets. So I hope that's useful.
You mentioned blind signing and clear signing a couple of times so far, Mark. I wondered if you could quickly sort of summarize the difference between the two, as it's been a key message for Ledger recently.
Absolutely. So coming back to what we were talking about at the beginning, where we were saying that hardware wallets were designed in a world where people were buying and holding their assets. Smart contract transactions came later. And the thing with smart contract transactions is that they're pretty complex, and most of the time they happen with a variety of different stakeholders being involved. And what I mean by stakeholders are actually different technologies and platforms. So if you think about it, you're connecting your ledger to MetaMask, and MetaMask is connecting to whatever OpenSea to buy a certain NFT. For you to be able to decipher, or for your wallet to be able to decipher the smart contract details and display it to you in a human readable form, both OpenSea and MetaMask need to implement plugins that enable the transaction of the translation, of the hex data in a human readable language. So it's not only on Ledger to develop clear signing, it needs to be developed by all stakeholders within the ecosystems across the board. And I say ecosystems in plural because it needs to happen in EVM, but it also needs to happen in Solana, Bitcoin, Sui, and so on and so forth. So it's a collaborative effort. And with Ledger, what we did is that we made sure that every single dApp that was being integrated into Ledger Live had developed the necessary plugins. But obviously, with other partners across the board, it's hard to like kind of find the incentive for them to do it. They have developer resources, and their developer resources are often focused on the development of features of their own products and applications. But what we did this summer is that we launched the ClearSign All the Things initiatives, and we're developing an open standard with a device SDK that is free to use. And we're working with different partners for them to develop or to implement, not necessarily develop. We're giving them everything. We're just being like, okay, guys, like we gave you the tools, we gave you the open standard. What you need to do is just make sure that it's integrated in your apps and middlewares, whether it be software wallets or other platforms like Wallet Connect, in order to make sure that when you actually connect your ledger to Wallet Connect or to MetaMask, in order to connect it to either 1inch or OpenSea or any dApp, you're able to actually read the transaction details on your secure screen and verify that these details are actually what you're seeing on your mobile phone or your computer, because often a hacker would hack into your internet connected screen, make you switch the address. So if you're sending like 100 sol or 5 sol or whatever it be, the account to your friend, and your friend's address, they would still display your friend's public address, but in the back end they would be switching it with another address. And since your internet connected screen cannot be trusted, the only way to verify the transaction details is to look at your device's screen and verify all the transactions. But if it's done in blind signing, you can't do that. So the only way to actually protect you from any sort of tampering with your internet connected screen is making you, enabling you to verify those details in a language that you understand on your Ledger device's screen. It's a very long initiative. We're starting with EVM, and then we're going to move to Solana, and then we're going to move to like Sui and other ecosystems. But without clear signing, there is no secure self-custody, so we really have to do it. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that the difference there for us. Kadan97 says right away, he says, is that even possible? That's high end. So it seems it's incredible technology, incredible development.
Sorry to cut you off, Danny. It's not even possible. It has happened. Search Radiant hack. It happened a couple of weeks ago, and Radiant is actually like a pretty big platform, and they got hacked for a decent amount of money. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was in the millions. And exactly what I'm telling you happened. They switched the address, they hacked into their screen, and since they weren't using a secure screen to verify the details, they clicked send and they got hacked. And it happens pretty often, more often than you think, actually. So having a secure screen is super important.
Well, that's incredible technology that has been developed. Incredible technology that has been developed. For sure. I think we have time for one more question before we draw the LedgerFlex winner and wrap up for today. This question comes from Kadan97, who was up here on stage before but couldn't manage to speak through their question, so they've typed it instead. And it's Jake. It's leaning a little bit more towards yourself and Open Campus, which is, how can the community contribute to the growth of Open Campus? Open Campus is all about educating the community. What's expected of the community in return?
So I think the best way for any of our community to contribute to the growth of EDU chain is just to get active on the chain. Testnet is live at the minute, and there's a bunch of different dApps. I think we have around 30 dApps live on testnet. around 1.5 million unique active wallets. So there's a bunch of activity already happening on EDU chain. So I'd recommend anyone to get started on testnet, and when mainnet comes around, exactly the same thing. Get active, engage with those dApps. It doesn't necessarily have to be financial, because there will be educational dApps within this as well. So whether you're learning from the content, exploring the DeFi ecosystem, all of that has a big impact to growing EDU chain, both in terms of the amount of users that are on chain, maybe TVL if you are interacting with the DeFi layer of EDU chain. But I think that over the coming months is the best way to interact with our ecosystem. And something that will be coming with mainnet as well is the on-chain learning credentials that I've talked about a little bit already today. And I think, yeah, this would be a very good part of the ecosystem to get involved with. This is essentially how you build your educational reputation on chain, by engaging with the dApps that have integrated with Open Campus ID, learning something from them, which could be Web3 security content, but there's going to be a whole range of other stuff. For example, even TinyTap are integrating with Open Campus ID. So if you've got a family, you could get your kids on chain very easily by getting them to learn some fun educational content, and they can mint their progress with NFTs on Open Campus ID. So that would be another big part I think I would like to encourage people to get involved with, which is not necessarily like the typical route into Web3, which tends to revolve around finance. This would actually be starting with education first, which I think, particularly for families, particularly for students, is a great way to ease your way into the ecosystem. So yeah, Kadan, to answer your question, very simply, just get active on EDU chain. That's the best way to contribute.
There we go. There we go. Contribute, build, and as well, you may have seen in the builders updates today at Open Campus, there has been a call from TinyTap to for developers of video games, in particular games inspired by retro games of years gone by. And there's a brand new forum right now over in the builders forum. There's a new post for anyone who maybe has ideas or first steps on developing retro inspired games for EDU chain. Over there to take a look at. I'll just post a little link to that in the chat there. You'll see, Nadal, I've just posted some photos in the chat of the Ledger Flex device that we have been hyping up and talking a lot about throughout this event. And now it's time to give one away to somebody here in this audience. I've got all of the usernames of everybody who is currently in the audience loaded up to a spinning wheel. I'm going to spin this wheel. We'll hear a nice groovy sound effect, and then we'll reveal who the winner of the Ledger Flex device is. I'm giving the names a shuffle round from last time, and let's find out who our winner is. The winner is Ambrose Mwu. Ambrose Mwu, congratulations. Congratulations for winning this, for winning the Ledger Flex device. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to give a prize like this away. Please open a ticket here in Open Campus, and we will collect the relevant information and ensure that the device is on its way to you as soon as possible. Congratulations on winning the prize, and remember to use it responsibly always. Before we wrap up, Mo, Jake, do you have any closing remarks?
I mean, thanks again for having me, and congratulations, Ambrose. I hope you appreciate the, enhanced user experience of a Ledger Flex. Yeah, I mean, I think, the next year is going to be interesting for everyone involved, and I just hope that those of you who were around in 2021 when things started getting crazy, we started seeing a lot of people get hacked and scammed everywhere, and I think we're in a situation today where we have a lot more people that were around when that happened, and I think the solution to that was just education at scale. And I think whether it be Open Campus or Ledger or other companies in the space, we're definitely trying to do our best. But I think it's it's everyone's everyone has the power to make a change there. So if you're onboarding someone onto the space, it's Thanksgiving today, and you know, a lot of people will be with their loved ones and their families and probably onboarding people. Make sure that you give them the right tips, and make sure that they're aware of what they're getting into. And I think we all have the responsibility to make this a safer space. So yeah, I hope that, you know, whatever information we shared here today was valuable to you. And if it was valuable to you, make sure to share it, and to make sure that, you know, also the people around you stay secure. So yeah, stay safe, and thanks again for having me.
Yeah, and then just closing remarks from me would just be like, yeah, big thanks to Mo for coming in and teaching us more about Ledger and some of the security protocols that we should all be following. I think it's very, very useful information, and I agree. If you've been in the space for a while, it's not your duty, but you should take it upon yourself. If anyone that you are personally onboarding or you knows getting into crypto, make sure they know this stuff. I think a lot of us have had to learn the hard way, but we wish we didn't have to learn that way. So if there can be a nicer onboarding journey for new people coming into the space, let's try and make it happen if we've got that knowledge. But yeah, Mo, really appreciate you coming on. And a big shout out to BT as well, who's been hyping up the chat for the last 45 minutes. You've been doing a great job, mate. But yeah, and thank you to everyone that's listened in as well. Been great to speak to you all, and hopefully we can do something like this with Ledger and some other brands again very soon. But yeah, thanks Mo, and thank you Danny as well for hosting a great hour.
Thank you, Jake, and thanks, Danny, again. And yeah, BT is the best. Thank you, BT. Appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. Hopefully, we should talk, Jake. So let's definitely connect.
Let's do it, Mo.
All right. Enjoy your evening, everyone, or morning, wherever you are. Happy Thanksgiving as well. See ya.
Thank you all. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Jake. Happy Thanksgiving. If you are in the USA or just want to celebrate Thanksgiving, to be honest, have a great time. Have a great day, and we will see you again soon.